What's up, Whittier?
Welcome to What's Up, Whittier, a homegrown podcast.
A podcast to showcase Whittier's businesses, personalities, and hidden treasures.
All right, we're live. What's Up, Whittier's live.
Hello, what's up, Whittier?
What's up, Whittier?
We're live.
Give us a show us some music.
Dun, dun, dun.
So today we're gonna be recording live on Instagram. So hopefully we can continue to do this on every show. Today it happens to be that we have a special guest, so that's the reason why we wanted to record. So what episode are we at?
3,200.
This is 42. 42.
Look at that. Close enough. So today, our special guest is Ivy.
Hold on, I
Ponce.
didn't. Wait, we didn't start. We need to start from the countdown so then I can start on the recording.
Oh,
This is the
man.
behind the scenes right
Yes.
here. This is boo.
Okay.
We
Okay.
got booed right now.
Okay.
Wait, so that thing's not facing me. Is it still recording?
It's totally recording you. This is like this is the camera.
I was this close to picking my nose.
You're definitely being recorded.
Yeah, you're being recorded.
This is how the magic happens. Okay.
Dude, there's gangsters up here. Look at that. Everyone knows
Shut
their role. I know.
All right.
Give
So,
a thumbs up. Showing some love.
oh, that's nice. You liking it? Okay, cool.
That's how lame we are. We're like,
Like,
This is exciting. This is my
we
first
gotta
time
let-
doing
like
all of
our
this,
own-
guys. So
Our own podcast.
bear with me.
Barry.
all right. Let me know whenever you guys are ready.
Jesse, how's it?
Ready?
Am I gonna get some or what?
Oh yeah, you want some?
Well, I mean, after you slobber on it, I'll take the
Oh,
last
man.
ounce. Yeah, I'll take some.
Make up your mind,
Give
man.
me the end of it.
There you go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
This is what really happens on the podcast. Am I gonna make a mess for you?
Sure.
Here, do you want the trash can?
The carpet's gonna go anyways.
Oh, is it?
Just to tell my landlord.
The landlord's watching.
I know. Is he watching Instagram Live?
He does. He follows us.
Is there sugar in this thing?
No.
Alright, good.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Alright. Shall
Ready?
we?
All right.
Oh, you turned it to get me? Christine.
Yes.
Good camera guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Gal.
In
2000.
it's 2017.
Sorry,
Feminism.
friend. Oh, sorry.
It's all. It's okay. All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
In 5, 4, 3.
What's up, Whittier?
Go ahead, Jesse. Check into your Instagram Live. So now that we're on
man.
Instagram Live. Dun, da, da, da.
There you go.
Yeah.
Now we're official.
That was just
Now we're official.
so. What's on tap today, Jesse?
Same thing every week, man. Special guest.
No, real special guest today.
Real special guest. To
Who
the
is it?
point.
Who is it? Who is it?
To the point that we're Instagramming live.
This is fun.
The guest
Let's see.
actually owes me $10 already. I let her use my Wi-Fi.
So
There you
unfair.
Yeah.
It was part of the package deal. I have it in writing. I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I want $10 though. So,
So today we have Ivy Ponce from Ivy Love.
Hi guys.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So Ivy, is that your real name first off?
That's my real name. I should have my driver's license somewhere. It is. I promise. 3 letters.
do you have any siblings that also have names that are after flowers? Like you have a Rose in the
No,
family?
But I have a 3-letter named sibling, Amy.
Okay.
And that's it.
You know, I
Everyone
never- I was saying, I never thought about that. Like imagine.
my uncle named all their kids with a name started with an R, and then another one named like something similar.
Yeah.
Where
I like that. I like patterns. My daughter's name is Idalis, and I had to have an I name.
Nice.
So that was on purpose.
There you go.
Fun fact.
Yeah. Well, you're the first real Ivory. Most of the
I-
time, it's a
Ivy.
Ivy. I'm sorry.
I-V-Y.
Ivory. Ivy.
I get it all the time.
Well, welcome.
Thanks. Thank you, Christine.
Well,
Of course, Christine is the one who sets us up, so shout out to Christine, wherever Christine may be.
behind the camera and the laptop and the recorder and the phone.
So Ivy, tell us a little bit about yourself. What's this Ivy Love?
Where do I start? How much do you guys already know? So that I can just catch everyone else.
Whoever is listening, so they could.
So, Ivy Love started, I guess you could say, in high school. I've always been the kid that likes to draw. So, even back to when I was like in elementary school and I'd go to birthday parties while all the kids were lining up to hit the piñata, I was in a little corner at the end of the party table drawing stuff for people. And that kind of followed me all through high school. By the time I was a senior, I was designing our senior class logo and making puffy pink t-shirts for pep rallies and teams and picture day. And I went to fashion school. I'm trying to give you the short story. So
We have time.
okay, good. So I ended up going to fashion school and realized I don't know how to sew. I've always wanted to be in fashion, and just the sketching just kind of followed me throughout the years. And the same people who would have me do their puffy pink shirts in high school. started
Puffy pink
puffy
shirts?
paints. You know, like you go to Michael's and there's like these little tubes and you squeeze them out and there's paints and you can write your name on shirts.
Yes.
That's what I used to do.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was
On
big
hats,
in
on
the-
shoes, you name it.
Remo, you remember this?
What is
you're
Michael's?
older. You're older than us.
No, I am older
He's
than you guys.
pretending. He's totally
No,
pretending like he doesn't know what we're
You know what you're talking about?
It's puffy paint.
Puffy paints. Everybody
Man,
knows what
I know
puffy
that
paints
were
are.
those the pens where you squeeze the glitter comes out.
Yes.
Okay, that I know. No,
See,
I never
you're-
heard of it.
anything shiny he remembers.
Yeah.
Just not shiny. It's
I have to give a visual. Like
It had to
I
have
don't
glitter,
know
right?
yeah. Yeah, I remember that. It was big. I grew up with my cousins or my aunts and cousins actually, and they were older than I was by 5-7 years, and I remember that trend, and they were
was
coming.
major.
I mean, every white shirt was turned into something, and
As Christine rotates the screen.
now you know what it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Visuals. So I did that, and then even while I was in fashion school and just trying to figure out what I was going to do as far as a career, I would have my high school classmates look me up on MySpace and message me and say, hey, I have a concert that I'm going to. Do you still make shirts? Because I need a shirt that says blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so I just kept doing that. And I mean, and here we are. It's followed me. I've had normal 9-to-5s, and my Ivy Love puffy paint t-shirt business has just been like my side gig.
It's been your love.
My love.
Yeah.
Really, like that's all I know. I've always liked to draw and decorate stuff. So I now have a 17-year-old daughter. So for the sake of being a normal parent, I got a 9-to-5 and I tried to do that
sorry.
thing.
So who's older, her or you?
We're,
I
we're
said
right
the exact
there.
same thing.
She's actually taller than I am.
So you
She's a
said-
normal size human. I'm 4'11", guys. I'm like, so for the sake of just being a regular parent, and providing with a 9-to-5, I took a job in the trade school industry. So I was at Maranello for a few years. I was at UEI for a few years as an admissions and career director, and admissions rep. And even then, I was making T-shirts on the side.
Really?
So long story short, one day I was like, "This is it. I'm just gonna go with it." And Ivy Love was born somewhere throughout those, I don't know, 18 years, 20 years.
Did you leave the 9-to-5? Or
I
you
did.
So how
About-
long have you?
About 4 years ago, so I had my daughter at 17, which was always in the back of my mind. I always felt like there has to be something that you do to prevent this happening again. And so having a 9-to-5, I was always, checking in on her, like, are you home yet? Is your homework done? And she was kind of like a latchkey kid for a few years. And I was missing practices, and she was in cheerleading and volleyball and basketball, and I was missing games, and I was just, because I had to pay bills, I was at the office. And the closer she got into her teenage years, the more I realized I needed to be home all the time. Not because I didn't trust her, but because I knew there was a certain age where you do kind of feel that freedom of like, she'll never know. My mom will never find out she's at work. So before that happened,
So
I came home.
Just so
Sorry.
you know that too.
I came home.
Because you know better, right?
Because I know better. And because I was an honor roll student, most of us assume that if you're doing poorly academically, that's when you become a teen parent. And that's not the case. I was a good student academically. I was in ASB. I was doing everything by the book, but you know,
You were an overachiever.
I was doing okay in school, and I had a little bit of extra freedom on my hands, and I didn't want that to happen to my kids. So I came home 4 years ago, and I've been doing this full time.
Nice.
So how many shirts do you do? Is it a day, a week, a month, or is it just shirts, or is there other like products?
So the puffy paint thing died out when I realized that I could not work fast enough.
It's not scalable.
Right. And it's just, you know, not as fancy. So being in fashion school, I realized that there were computer programs that I needed to learn, and I didn't want to learn them because I'm a freehand artist. I used to hand paint shoes and purses and hats. So I was like, gosh, do I want to learn this stuff? But the more, the higher the demand was for not just one birthday shirt, but like we're all going to Disneyland, or you know, there's 12 of us that are gonna go on vacation and we all want matching shirts. I was like, okay, I gotta learn this program, and then hire like a silk screener, and I did that. So I have a friend, a childhood friend, who was going to school for graphic design, and I reached out to him. Hi, Steve. And I credit him for the growth of Ivy Love, because I didn't have a logo, I didn't have anything. I had my little trademark card that was just something that I signed on everything. And I remember calling him and saying like, hey, I know you're going to school for this, and I really need to figure out how to turn my art into something that can be printed. And he's like, oh, you're gonna have to learn Photoshop, Illustrator. He's like, I'm going to school for that. And I offered him like an hourly rate. I was like, if you can tutor me, I'll pay you. And at the time he hadn't graduated yet, and he was you know, doing the college thing, so I'm sure that extra money kind of helped him out.
Oh, yeah.
And I would, he was also, he lived a few blocks away from me, so from like midnight to like 2 in the morning, sometimes we'd be in his, it was kind of like this, it was like just, he called it the green room because all the walls are green. And he would tell me, okay, so what do you want to learn today? And I'd be like, okay, so this is my sketch, how do I turn it into, and the rest is kind of history. So then now I have a silk screener who prints my stuff, so I send him the designs.
Very cool. And so when you were talking about the that puffy paint, when it wasn't that, you went into silk screen, right?
Right.
Out of all that, so let me just say this: when you started off your story with, you know, you as a kid, you were always drawing. That's my story, you know. I think you heard the last episode. Come on, Remo, you're supposed to laugh.
I was
Chime
gonna
in.
say, she didn't want to be an architect.
But it's true. It's like one of those things where like you just get that itch to create, and it's hard to give it up. You know.
It follows you, like no matter how much you want to do like what would you call, like a traditional career, you know, like the doctor lawyer type of career, your art just doesn't want to let go. I actually considered architecture. I had a really amazing 5th grade teacher who taught us math through archicture, so like the perimeter and the area, and I thought, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do.
That's kind of cool.
And so I walked in here and I was like, oh, my first love. It's definitely
what was your
something
teacher's name?
Mr. Clark. Hi, Mr.
Let's
Clark.
see, is that him?
No, it's not.
He's actually, as we speak, he's typing my daughter's college recommendation letter right now.
No way.
He ended up, I contacted him, I found him, really, the internet's the best. I found him on Facebook, and I was like, what you did for me as a 5th grader, I need you to do that too for my daughter, because she wasn't loving math. And he's like, bring her in. And so I would drive her half hour from Whittier to Cudahy,
Nice.
to my hometown, and she was in his class for 5th grade and 6th grade. And sure enough, 6th grade ended, and she was like, I love math.
Wow.
So she used to go to school in Whittier? And then you
She's always
pulled her?
been in Whittier, and I
you-
pulled her out of the district for 2 years just so that my
No
5th grade
way.
teacher could.
Was that something that's easy to do?
No.
No, but
Okay.
you're talking
No.
about going from, I mean, I don't know where in Cudahy, but
It was like a 45-minute to an hour drive
not
every
to
morning.
bash on Cudahy, but I don't know what those school ratings there
You're riding
are.
solo on this one,
Unless
Jesse.
it's
That's how amazing this teacher was.
Wow.
Is that it just every year I would think, I hope I get to like bump into him again and let him know, you know, what an impact he was in my life. And he ended up being my sister, all my siblings' teachers, because
No
we
way.
all grew
Oh,
up
your
in
group
Canada.
was- yeah.
And so when she was in 5th grade, I was like, okay, well, how do I do it so that he's her teacher too? And I reached out and he's like, yeah, I'll take her. And I was like, really? And I was like, what do I do? Because you got to pull a kid out of the district and paperwork and it needs to get approved. And he's like, bring her in, we'll figure it out. 2 years.
Wow, that's really cool.
And
Yeah.
right now he's typing her recommendation letter. She's applying to colleges.
What
So-
schools does she hoping to get to?
I don't want to jinx it, but we're looking at USC. We're looking at schools that I would have never imagined applying to. So we're looking at USC. Her dream school is NYU for, I want to say, at least 10 years. She always wanted to go to New York. And then we visited New York last year, me thinking that she was going to say, no, this is too crazy for me. I
Just
can
go in
do
the
it.
wintertime and then you.
And she was
That's
like,
the trick.
just leave me here. I'm home. And then we came home, and my best friend, who is a USC grad, she was like, you know, she's her Nina, so she's like, you know, Mama, just come visit the campus, see how you feel about it. So we took a little tour, and she loved it. So now we're NYU, USC.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Did you guys go during the wintertime or in the summertime?
No, we went in September. We're both September babies. We're 2 days apart. So we celebrated our birthday in September of last year. And the weather was perfect. I mean, everything was perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wish I wanted to stay.
one of the first times I went to the East Coast, it was,
Mhm.
I want to say January, February. I never understood why anyone would ever buy a trench coat until you go to
Yeah.
New York in
Because
the winter.
they're nice.
No, I mean it's so hot, but when you get that breeze, that wind chill that just gets to your bones, it's like, yeah, I'm good. LA is the place for me.
Going back into a hotel.
Yeah.
I love LA too, but I'm looking forward to visiting her. Hopefully, if she gets in, I'll be making a few trips out there.
So does she have the artistic bug too, or is it
On a different level, she's on the other side of this, at the other end of the spectrum. She's a singer, so she does theater and she does music. She's had chores since she was maybe 1st or 2nd grade. She's been my dishwasher.
And she's
Whatever
still
child
Earning
they-
that money.
I made her. And so she's been washing dishes since she was like in 1st grade, and that's her stage. So she sings everything from Disney to Broadway musicals to.
And was she singing while she was
Oh, yeah.
doing dishes?
Oh, yeah.
Is that like,
You gotta make it fun.
That's what
so
she
she
says.
doesn't know what she's
Oh.
doing.
That's what she says, that's her
So she
stage,
doesn't
man.
know. That's her stage.
wow?
So I mean, even now she's still doing dishes every day or every other day now. She's so busy.
That's
But
a way of turning dishes into something really fun.
our neighbors who were not like, we never knew who our neighbors were. We just kind of kept to ourselves. And one of our neighbors approached us about a year after we moved in,
Asked her to
and
be
they
dishwasher.
were like, who sings in there? Who? And I was like, we both kind of sing, but the good singer is my daughter. She's like, sometimes we open the windows just to like listen. Yeah.
Did you take out the bucket and say, well, start paying?
No, she's
or if they had any dishes for her to wash. and-
Nothing's free here.
no
Come on.
kidding. No, she's my dishwasher.
Yeah.
Just let's make that clear. I'm not sharing her.
Oh man, that's
So, yeah,
kind of cool.
That's our little story in a
Yeah,
nutshell.
yeah. So, again, I was kind of going back to the original thought of you doing things by hand,
Mhm.
and how you were having a hard time transition to this kind of mechanical
I
way of
hated
doing
it.
things.
Hated it. I
Um,
hate it now.
It's
and
hard.
and it's two extremes because you are all hand and you're all,
Well, no,
No,
but
but
that's
it's
what I'm
still-
saying. Originally, not to say that I was always by hand, and I started by hand, but I don't sketch and draw as much as I used to when I was younger.
Mhm.
Just because everything I do now is digital.
And it's true what they say: if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yes.
So there were a few years when I was working at the trade schools that I just didn't have time to sketch, and all my stuff was put away, and it was just, I didn't want to. It's a little bit like you get anxiety where you haven't done something you love for a long time and you're afraid to go back to it. So I had all my stuff kind of like put away so I didn't have to see the markers and the pens and all that good stuff. And when I picked it up again, you lose a little bit if you don't practice it enough. So, but I'm back.
There you go. Yeah, and I was gonna say, so once you go from, again, the handcrafted, using your hands kind of skills to going into this manufacturing process, sometimes it becomes, it's still yours, but it's something. What's the right word? It's yours, but it's
Manufactured.
but it's not yours. I mean, it's.
I don't feel like it's complete. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I feel like I still want to touch things up or like have, put little details into it that maybe silk screening just can't really translate onto t-shirts. So I do feel like a lot of my t-shirts are not complete, which is why I started doing the Ivy Love sketches, where
Sorry, by the way, I did see that.
You did?
And that was kind of cool. Yeah, you did one. What was pop-up?
the last one was at
The skin room?
Yes.
Of Brenda?
Yes.
Brenda's
So
awesome.
I saw that.
Hi, Brenda.
Yeah, shout out to Brenda. It's I saw the sketch you were doing, which I thought was kind of cool. Just to see, I'm a sucker for stuff like that, man. Like you start off with like just a line and you're not knowing what it's gonna turn into, and then you see the second stroke and the third stroke, and all of a sudden you see it become something. You're like, man, that's kind of cool. What's next? Yeah.
It's emotional for me to watch other artists as well. Like I do feel that the process is just, it's a good feeling for other artists to see.
See, I'm the other extreme. I love the machine stuff, and
You just like to see the
Just give
finished
me the
product. Like
repetition.
just show me it
how
done.
can we do 1,000 of these, right? So.
Well, and that's the thing. Like again, and I guess for me it's just more of a you get something that comes down to almost perfect, right? So it's a nice clean pattern, and then you replicate it, 1,000 times or whatever. So now all of a sudden you have 1,000 of the same, right? Whereas somebody who's trying to be, you're all about the arts and stuff like that. You want every piece is unique, even though you might replicate the same one again. It's never gonna match the last one, right? And I think for me that's kind of, I don't know what the right word is, but just being able to not duplicate it is for me, I think what makes it
Unique.
what makes me feel good about it. I don't know if that makes sense. Because I have thought about like doing something where it's a sketch and then it gets reprinted several times and it becomes kind of like a collection or whatever. But then part of me says like, man, is that really what what
Do I want to
should be
mass
doing?
produce?
Like,
Exactly.
Oh, man.
I fought that so much, but I'm telling you, people were like, I don't need one shirt, I need 15. And then it became like, we're doing a tailgating to Dodger Stadium and there's 400 of us. And like,
Get some coffee.
and I remember thinking like, how do I do it so that it's still unique?
Yeah.
And I've been lucky that I've been able to incorporate my heart into, so my trademark heart goes into every design, either on the back, which is the most common place that you'll find it. The back of every shirt has a little Ivy Love heart.
Nice.
That's how you know it's an original piece, because again, a heart can be reproduced by other companies and it might look similar, but you know that it's Ivy Love.
So do you glue it on or stitch it on, or how's that?
No, it's all printed. The first few shirts, yeah, I mean, I remember painting my
Whoa,
heart
whoa,
on some of the.
Earthquake.
It's not an earthquake, guys.
Okay.
No earthquake, please.
Yep, so that's it. And that heart is, I don't know if the camera can see it, but it's now on my, I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I have a little tattoo.
I love it.
And the heart has its own story. I mean, just everything that I've designed, because of what we were talking about, how I just wanted to make sure that it was something original and something that you can't just mass produce and find anywhere. I've tried my best to find something unique in each collection so that other people can recognize it as an Ivy Love piece and not just some shirt with a heart on it.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not as easy because a heart is a common shape.
So may we ask what the story behind the heart?
Sure. It started as a signature heart. Every time I signed my name, I used to put a little heart, and one side was always bigger than the other. And the more I did that, the